Alyssa, you had a little bit of a mental breakdown the other day, and I was there. I was there with you on text. Can you kind of walk me through what happened?
I was really surprised by my reaction to the CDC's new mandate about masks. We've seen this coming. Like, we knew this was probably going to happen, at least for the past couple of weeks. I just lost it. Erin, I was crying in the grocery store, sending Erin and Caroline pictures. And I was like, I'm in the yogurt section and I'm about to lose my shit.
They were just crying selfies.
I was crying selfies because I was like, you guys, am I fucking weirdo? Like, what's wrong with me? But I saw this woman who had a shirt that said, like, no vax, my choice. And I just, you know what? Because I fucking hate wearing a mask. I hate it. I do it dutifully. I do it cheerfully. Fucking hate it. And now it's back, and it was too much for me. And Erin and Caroline got the full Alyssa. That's what they got.
Alyssa, I feel like a lot of people are at that place mentally this week. And so that's what we're going to talk about in our panel discussion. I'm going to bring in the other two ladies who are joining us. First up, she is a comedian, a writer, performer, and you may recognize her voice from standing next to her in line to get a taco salad. Megan Gailey.
Hi, guys. Hi. How are you?
Wait, so tell us about the taco salad incident. You were in line for—
I was at a vegan sports bar in my neighborhood, which I was fundamentally against. Like, when I heard it, I was like, I will never go there. And then I, of course, went there and had a wonderful time. And our server, like, came up and was like, Megan, and was a Hysteria a fan and listener. We've been DMing. My vegan taco salad was delicious. And I will say this was a bright spot in what was otherwise very similar to Alyssa's grocery store.
You know, it's funny because sometimes I'll be like in a, coffee shop or standing in line for something and just talking, and someone will turn around like shocked, and it's like, oh, why are you looking? Oh, you might have heard
You hear
me.
my voice.
Yeah. It's a weird.
She saw my eyes. She saw my eyes and knew. She said, oh, that is a diva, and I know her.
The Megan Gailey spirit just exudes off of you. Second up, we are excited to welcome for the first time to Hysteria an LA-based comedian, writer, and actress. She is originally from Kentucky. She came up in comedy in Oakland. Welcome, Nori Reed.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much.
So Nori, just to introduce you to our listeners, You're from Kentucky. So
that's true.
What is your most controversial take on your home state of Kentucky that people from Kentucky are allowed to have, but people who are not from Kentucky are not allowed to have?
Oh, well, I'm a trans person from Kentucky, so I think I'm allowed to hate it. I think I'm pretty sure that I'm allowed to just like legally hate where I'm from. No, Kentucky is a really beautiful place. It's like there's some good vibes, there's community vibes. My one hot take is people from Kentucky are actually super, super nice. Just be careful what they say behind your back. I'll say that. It's like a bless your heart kind of vibe.
Oh,
where you're like, oh, that was so nice. And then afterwards they were like, no, she hated you. Like, by the way. So I'll put that out there. Yeah.
Okay. And in Kentucky, do people people actually follow up with like shit talking? They'll give you like some passive aggressive kindness, and then there's like behind your back shit talking
through prayer. So
Yes.
it's like it's like, oh, just by the way, I was, Sandy from church, I was praying for her the other day because I heard some tough stuff about Sandy. Yeah.
They're shit talking you to God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is brutality. Yeah, in the Midwest, when people don't like you, what they do is they kind of shit talk with their eyes. You know, like you walk away and then there's like eye contact shit talking, but there's no like overt. Gosh, I admire anyone strong enough to survive an upbringing in Kentucky. Okay, so let's pivot to the topic we're going to talk about, which is like the absolute frustration of the masking COVID yo-yo situation that we're stuck in right now. We talked about Alyssa's mini breakdown in the yogurt aisle that resulted in selfies and group texts. Nori, where are you at mentally when it comes to the pandemic, and how did you feel when you heard about the new remask up mandate?
Not good. I'll say that. Not good. I mean, where am I mentally? I'm mentally ill. That's where I'm at. It is so hard. I feel like I'm one of those people that kind of was like, okay, I'm doing the right things. I'm scared for my own health, but I'm community minded and I'm thinking about other people's health. And I did what I quarantined and I was a good little person. And, and then I was so excited to get the vaccine and live my life and thought that was like, okay, I did the good things. And it's just like another American myth, it's like pull yourself up from the bootstraps kind of myth that we have in America. It's like the same thing. It's like, it just sucks that like you think you're doing the right thing for the community, for the country, and then that hopeless feeling of like it still doesn't matter. It's just real. It's a really bad feeling.
Yeah. I feel similar vibes. One thing I thought about like you, Nori, and Megan and other comedians and performers that we have in the sort of Hysteria fam. Like Megan, after like over a year of not performing, how did it feel to think about like masking coming back? Like, were you worried about the because it seems like you're really excited to be on stage again. So like, how did that feel for you in terms of being a performer?
In LA, we sort of knew this was coming because it was announced, and I had shows leading up to it before it went back into place. And you see these business owners, and they are just like, oh my God. Like I was doing a place out in Santa Monica, and they're like, well, we'll see if we can afford this wave of whatever it's going to be. And it does mess with our industry and so many things it puts us just back to total uncertainty. And that is a really uncomfortable, shitty place to be. Like Nori said, when you feel like you've done all the right things to not have to be in that place again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And part of the reason that we're here, which is that, I'll just cut to the chase, is because anti-vax people can't fucking get their shit together. They refused to mask up when we didn't have a vaccine. And now that a vaccine is readily available, and in some places almost too available, we have extra vaccines that are getting thrown away. They're choosing not to do it. And people who are not vaccinated are responsible for most of the spread. And they're responsible for outbreaks in Missouri and in the Southeast. And, now it seems that this new, more aggressive Delta variant can be passed on to people who are vaccinated, and people who are vaccinated are getting sick. They're not going to the hospital and dying in large numbers like unvaccinated people are, but we're still getting sick. And meanwhile, kids who are under 12 can't get vaccinated. And there's no real timeline to knowing when that will actually happen. So Alyssa, my question for you is, when it comes to vaccinated people, am I in the wrong here for kind of having this part of my brain that's like, fuck them?
Fuck them! Favorite line in any movie is in Legends of the Fall when Anthony Hopkins, Colonel Ludlow, goes, screw them! That's how I feel about all these fucking people. Screw fucking you. Like, here's the thing. I, as my mom loves to remind me, have always had terrible, terrible reactions to vaccinations. Terrible as a baby. And when I went to college and the University of Vermont, people came and like took me out of my dorm room and were like, you will get your fucking measles vaccine again. And you know what? I didn't hesitate. I knew I was probably going to get real sick from this vaccination. Guess what? I was fucking fine 3 days later. And here I am. And where I am in upstate New York is technically considered the capital region right now, and is apparently one of the hot. It's a New York. It's not quite a hot spot, but there are more cases here. Guess what? I'm stoked. I may not die from this. Mm-hmm. I don't want to fucking get it again because I had it. We think there were no tests at the time, but I don't want to get it again. I don't want to get long hauler symptom. Like I don't give a shit. I've done my part. I stayed the fuck home. I lost all my work except for this podcast for a year and change. A camp was like front page of the New York Times, 15 miles from my house, because 31 campers tested positive for COVID because some motherfucker didn't vaccinate. So like, here's the thing I say about myself. I have no patience for these people. I have no time for them. And if we could put them in a colony unto themselves, that would be great. I mean, sarah. I'm fucking mad about it. Unless you have a real reason, this is just some fucking bullshit. Because unlike other things we have talked about, what we have been talking about, Erin, since last year, like, not that we're news witches or anything, or like medical experts, but guess what? The more people who keep getting it, the more this fucking thing mutates, and the more opportunity there is to have a variant that is immune to our vaccine. So this is just like, I'm gonna start crying again. It's too much.
I when I hear you say you have no patience and you have no time, I'm really happy. I have a freelance job yesterday and today, but Monday I spent 12 hours fighting with people on the Indianapolis Colts Instagram account because
cool. That seems
which
good.
is a team that I love, because the head coach, who was vaccinated, both shots, tested positive for COVID. And so he released a statement. It's the beginning of training camp. And every comment beneath it was like, well, then why get the vaccine? Why?
Oh my God.
Okay. And now you want to get vaccinated. And so then I had to, well, I didn't have to, but I didn't really have anything to do on Monday. And so I just went in and, oh boy. 12 hours. I was in fighting with people, and I think one guy, maybe I turned him, but I have friends that are like, why are you even doing this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just so angry with them. And like, that's one little corner of like, oh my God, we are so passionate about the same thing, which happens to be this football team, but you are so fucking stupid. If you're stupid, if you have bad grades, no teacher told you were smart, you've never felt smart, maybe listen to someone else. I'm so tired of the dumbest fucking people. I'm like, you're in 3 pyramid schemes. You think I'm gonna listen to you, bitch? No. You got tricked. You're being tricked again. Hillary didn't get executed at Guantanamo. Get the fucking shot and shut up.
Yeah. Nori, I wonder if you find that you're having ugly feelings toward the unvaccinated at all. And like, do you talk yourself down, or do you just kind of let them ride? And to use a Megan Gaileyism, do you indulge your, metaphorical fighting for 12 hours on the Indianapolis Colts Instagram?
I don't know sports. I don't know. So I that's not me, but I'm proud of you, Megan. And I do want to say, it reminds me a lot of the discourse around like Trump supporters. And of course there's a lot of crossover there with anti-vaxxers. But it reminds me a lot of like when it was like during the presidential election, and it was like, we have to talk to them. We need to like reach across the aisle and get them to like us and get them to understand us. And it's kind of like how much can you reason or rationalize with someone who is like a white supremacist or a racist or homophobic, transphobic? How much of that is about a conversation? It reminds me a lot of that when we're talking about people who won't get vaccinated. It's like, how much of it is us having a conversation versus just their own irrationality that just cannot be changed. I've tried so hard like to sit and just think like, what's happening in their brain psychologically. Like I went to grad school to be a therapist and dropped out. So I am a therapist, and and I sit and I think, one semester, and I sit and I'm like, what is going on in their brains? I'm like, I'm an empath, shoot me, sue me. And I'm like, what's going on in their freaking skulls that is making them act like this? And I don't know. I don't know. That's I'm like, what is going on in the brain?
You know what? It seems almost like suicide bomber mentality. Like, it's like they know the facts are out there. They know that it's bad. They know that it'll hurt themselves and hurt everyone around them, but they don't care because the everybody around them getting hurt, the owning the libs matters more than their own health. And I think it's really hard to trace that sort of logic, but it does seem, here's another thing to go back to something Nori was saying, like, it does remind me of Erin, we need to reach out to Trump voters, and we need to stop talking down to Trump voters, and we need to do this for them, and we need to do this. We need to stop making fun of them. Why am I the only one who has to fucking be nice? Why am I the one that all falls on. I am tired of being nice. I've been nice a lot, and this is where it got us. This is where civility got us. And it's like, I don't know. I'm really angry about the situation we're in. I'm 6 months pregnant, and for the first 3 appointments that I had with my OBGYN, my husband wasn't allowed in the room with me. So I couldn't see, he didn't get to see the baby's heartbeat right away. He didn't get to, I had to do all that stuff by myself. I had a scare that I was having a miscarriage, and I wasn't, thank God, but I had to do that by myself. And that's because of fucking unvaccinated people. I don't want people to have to be in the hospital by themselves. I don't want people to not be able to do normal things. It makes me so angry. I don't know.
Well, and what makes me also, because like Nori, I am an empath. I care a lot about how people feel and why they feel it. So I have gone down the rabbit hole on all the packages that the networks have done, specifically my fave, CBS This Morning with Gayle King. And I have watched all of the reporters go to the hospitals and find the people who have gotten COVID, who are unvaccinated, who are like, we were told it wasn't that bad. And this guy who's got a breathing tube in, he's like, they said it was like a cold. This isn't like a cold. And on the one hand, I'm like, fuck. Look, it's like if you, for whatever reason, get all your news from Fox News, this is all you get. Like, this is what you know. And
but all those people are vaccinated. Every one of those
people.
But
now they've admitted it. They never admitted it before.
I also bump against the fact that, we are being nice. It's nice to say to dumbass strangers, I want you to live, and I want the people that you care about to live. That's what I kept saying to these people. I go, oh yeah, I'm such a dumb bitch that I want you and all your dumb fucking family to survive. What a dumb bitch thing to want. It's like, I'm not even, I don't even care. What's really pissing me off, when they start using my body, my choice, it's really fucking so disrespectful. It's very triggering. It's apples and ball sacks. It's not even a metaphor that makes any sense. And the thing is, they're not going to go, and now we think abortion's good. They're just saying it to be fucking assholes.
Pregnancy and abortion are not, the last I checked, abortion wasn't contagious. Going out, having an abortion isn't, if I go to a restaurant after having an abortion, I'm not going to cause everyone else at the restaurant to have an abortion.
No.
If you choose not to get vaccinated and you catch COVID and you're in a restaurant with a person who is immunocompromised, and so the vaccine, they got vaccinated, but the vaccine didn't produce an immune response in their body, you could kill that person. There's a child, thank goodness COVID isn't as deadly to children as it is to other demographics, because children can't get vaccinated, but still children can get sick. And there are some children who've gotten very, very sick. You could kill a fucking kid.
I'm so sorry. I just want to go back to something you said, Alyssa, when you were talking about Fox News. It's like the meme where it's like the real villain of the movie. I truly feel like the blood is on the hands of the media figures that knowingly spread false information for views and for advertising numbers. And that is what makes me so sick to my stomach, is the people who have no regard for human life and know that they did something so wrong, but do not care whatsoever.
And Nori, exactly what you just said, to lift that soundbite out could apply to so many things that Fox is talking about right now. I watch Fox on the reg because I like to know what's going on, over there. And last night I watched, because I was like, oh, they're having on Jim Jordan and Elise Stefanik to talk about the hearings yesterday. No, and it fucking bums me out because I know Elise Stefanik is smarter than this. I know she is. And the shtick that they had about the insurrection, it was like Erin and I were saying at the top, it's like, you can know, look, I may not agree with you. I get you're a good person, right? Just because I don't agree with you, that is not the fuck what's going on here. And these lunatics were on TV saying that if we're going to investigate the insurrection, then Nancy Pelosi needs to depoliticize this, and they need to investigate the protests of last summer and all this stuff. They said it with a straight face. They were given a huge fucking platform on Hannity at 9 p.m. And it's like, all I think about is the people watching it who don't cross-reference their news with like 30 other sources. And it's Nori. It's like they are the villain. Without them, with the help
100%.
of fucking Facebook, we could be in a very different position than we are right now.
I don't think we, as a country, we have high reading and listening comprehension. And so you have people sitting in front of their TVs, and you're right, they're not cross-referenced. So when they come at us being like, oh, these are all lies, it's like, bitch, we're going to the CDC, we're going to MB, anything with a C in it, I'm cross-referencing it with. I'm asking my mother, who's a doctor, or not a doctor, she's a nurse, she should be a doctor, nurses are better than fucking doctors. And like, it's like, is there no one, like I have a family member who is a Trump lover, watches Fox News. She is vaccinated. And I was like, oh my God, I'm happy that she is. And my mom goes, she believes in science. She's a nurse. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's just so sad that that's where we are. You either believe in science or you don't. It's not fantasy. It's not Harry Potter. It's a fucking class in school. It's real.
And then if you come at them like, when's the last time you had polio?
Right.
They're like, polio doesn't exist anymore. And you're like, what?
And you know what? People got the polio shot without knowing the 10-year-long effects, because the right now effect was you die. So you can get polio or you can get this shot. And the 10-year-long effects were fine. My uncle had polio. They got the vaccine. They're fine. Aren't they looking at us and being like, oh, they are okay. They look good. Guess what? I've gotten hotter since the vaccine. My ass looks better.
Mm-hmm. I got it at 7 and 12 weeks pregnant, and I'm fine. Like the baby is fine. Everything is fine. Like Mitch McConnell also had polio, so that might be a reason that he is one of the
so ugly.
Ooh, I bet he's got weak calves.
Well, here's the thing. Mitch McConnell is one of the few Republicans, to his credit, that has been like, get the vaccine.
Yeah.
No qualifications, just like everyone should get the vaccine. Here's the thing that, to go to Nori and Alyssa, points that you guys both brought up, we have these conservative media figures who are basically, fucking the anti-vax chicken for as long as they possibly can. And I feel like their plan is to just ride that as long as they can and then jump off at the last minute and be like, now I want people to get the vaccine. And we are going to be expected, they're going to be like dumbass Beltway pundits who are like, oh, congratulations. Oh, thank goodness, Sean Hannity. They'll suffer zero consequences for all the damage they've done simply because they changed their mind way too late. So, Nori, I wonder if you have do you have any forgiveness for these people? Do you feel any sympathy for these people? Like, how should we handle Sean Hannity who suddenly sees the light?
It's so funny to me that the Christians in this get to not be Christians and the non-Christians have to be Christians. I find that to be fascinating. I am not a Christian, but apparently right now I'm Jesus fucking Christ, because I have to forgive these like terrible people and be so nice to these awful people while these Christians are killing people. And that's cool. I think like my desire and motivation to return back to a life that feels somewhat normal and to be able to live my life is above any sort of hatred or like anger that I have towards these people. For me, it's not about forgiving them. It doesn't I don't care about them. I don't think about them. I want this to be over. And so it's like my desire for our country to move forward is bigger than any personal feelings I have towards someone like Sean Hannity, who is like a piece of shit. Like I don't care. Like I just don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's for me, it's not about forgiveness. I'm like, who cares? Like I'm an adult. Right. I'm an adult person.
Right. Can I resume not thinking about you ever, please?
I think it's selfish too. I think that they're like, oh, our constituents are dying. The people who make us money, the people who are ad sales. The only reason that they're now coming out and saying that is because that's who it's affecting. It's the people that like them.
I saw on Twitter, that a lot of people now who watch Fox News on the reg are like, yeah, like wink and a nod. We get they have to say it because like their sponsors are going to be like pissed.
Yeah,
but, like,
that's what's going on. That's what's happening.
Oh,
yeah,
it took them too long. It took them so long. Like if they all believed, if Sean Hannity really thought the vaccine was legit, why did he not say it in February when he got it, or March, or whenever? So like on the one hand,
he's a pussy, because he's a bitch ass pussy.
Why do they think everything is like a puzzle or a riddle or like the Da Vinci Code?
Because
you know what?
I know, because
it's the Da Vinci Code.
They're stupid. If they opened up the Da Vinci Code, we'd be in a better place. Because they'd go, oh my God, look at history.
Art. Let me think about art.
They're bored. They're so fucking bored that they're literally trying to create these like national treasure Nicolas Cage moments. And it's like, stop.
Yeah.
We laugh because it's the alternative to crying at this point.
Which I already did.
I cry about a lot of things now. Yesterday I cried because I had to leave the house, and then I cried because I had to go home, and then I cried. It's just, no, my hormones are just insane. But I swear to God, if this anti-vax thing leads to me having to like give birth alone in a mask, or like my mom can't see her grandchild like until the baby is 6 months old, like fuck you guys. I'm so, I mean, and it's clearly not just about me. I also was thinking about like people who work in hospitals and what a terrible 2020 they had, and how now they just have to do it again. Like it's like, I know that like people hate working in ERs over Halloween weekend because it's people getting into the most dumbass shenanigans and ending up in the emergency room because they're doing fucking dumb shit. And it's got to feel just like Halloween over and over and over again. But everybody's just doing it like virally. It's like viral Halloween. I feel like, you know, at this point, we tried to be nice. The government tried to be like, please get your vaccine. Look how much fun it is. Then everyone was like, fuck it. No, I'm going to have fun without doing the thing. I feel like now we are out of the carrot phase and we got to get to the stick phase.
Mandate.
Yeah.
I want mandate.
Or even in LA, just make people show their vaccine to go anywhere.
Yeah. That's what it is.
If you don't want to get the vaccine, whatever, crazy
Stay
person,
home.
Stay the fuck home at your big ass house in your man cave and jerk off as much as you want. But you're not coming in and ruining salad bars for me anymore.
If you want to jerk off at the salad bar, you got to be vaccinated.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Yes.
And keep it away from the Caesar.
Yes, it gets confusing. Yes. No, but Megan, I 100% think that is the answer, because when take a Colts fan, right? It's like if that Colts fan cannot go to a game, that matters to them. That is something that they care about. And so why not make that the issue? If you want to come here, show me your Vax card.
Those have been the rules for lots of things for a long time. No shoes, no shirt. People aren't walking in titties out places. We would if we could, but we're not allowed.
And it's also like, you guys, it's everybody's bottom line, right? Like, Megan, you know this, you can explain this better than I can, but part of what probably incited your Colts people earlier in the week is that the NFL put out some pretty fucking ballsy guidelines for the new season, saying that, and Megan, correct me if I get this wrong, but basically if you are an unvaxxed player and you get sick and you spread it and your team can't play, you got to fucking shoulder the financial burden. You will not get paid for the game. Your teammates are going to suffer. And they all went batshit about this. And but like, guess what? It's fucking hitting their bottom line. Yeah. And in France, when Macron came out and said, did you like that, guys? 15 years of France. I said Macron, right?
Yeah.
15 years of French. And he said, you can't go to fucking discotheques unless you're vaccinated. 2 million people signed up for the vaccination. It's like, you got to hit people where it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think also we should be emphasizing some of the really bad effects of COVID. I've seen some really dangerous, I think, this sort of Fox News favorite public health self-anointed expert who is really, really damaging, tweeted yesterday that getting COVID was the best way to inoculate yourself against COVID. No, it's
literally not true.
No, it's
you should
not.
talk to those college athletes that tried to have a massive lawsuit against the NCAA. And these are healthy children. These are like healthy 18-year-olds that are having horrible effects of it. But all that takes is knowing anything. Like we all know that. We all hear that and go, that's not true.
I think we need more people with like long COVID to talk about what long COVID is, because it's a real thing and you don't know if you're going to be one of those people that gets it. It's like playing Russian roulette. Also, we need to be, I've talked about this on the show. We need to be talking more about the dick effects of COVID. The penis is a vascular organ. The COVID is a disease that infects your vascular system. Once you have COVID, men with COVID have a 5 times higher rate of erectile dysfunction. COVID can break your dick. Like we need to make that more public. It's something that is super dangerous to people who might want to have children, because pregnancy is a very vascular thing. Like it can affect the placenta. We need to talk about, like, instead of just being like, you just won't get sick, let's talk about what sick is. What does sick look like? Who's gotten sick?
It has long-term effects on your heart, or can, depending on how bad it is. Because when I had COVID, which was bad, but not that bad, I couldn't walk down my driveway, which is not that long, for like 3 months without needing to take a break. Like, it is not for the weak.
But all this information is there, you know, like it really
it's been available.
The dicks. I mean, this is a crew that doesn't have great dicks to begin with, and that's. But yeah, you're right. Maybe more push on that, but
I don't know. We're all pretty pissed, and we're not going to pretend to feel nice or charitable about it. We're not going to do things to actively hurt people because we're not fucking monsters. But I think we all here agree that we're feeling less than charitable about people that have opted to endanger so many other lives, and not just lives, just like lifestyles, normalcy.